Night has settled over the valley like a velvet cloak. The lanterns along the bridge glow faintly, and the only sound is the slow murmur of the river below. Tonight we settle in beside the warmth of the Necromancer's garden that grows backwards. Let the road fall behind you, sink into your pillow as the hearth settles to embers. Let your breath turn slow and quiet in the candle glow. Let every worry drift beyond the inn door. This is the drowsy dragon. Let us begin. The heavy wrought iron gates of the estate stand tall before you, their intricate scrollwork shaped like frozen ravens and twisting vines. A thick silver mist clings to the ground, swirling around your ankles as you take your first step onto the path of crushed obsidian and moonstone. The air here is different, cooler and more still than the world you left behind, carrying the faint, sweet scent of damp earth and something ancient. There is no sound of crickets, no rustle of nocturnal creatures, only the soft, rhythmic thrum of the garden's own heartbeat. You carry a lantern of aged brass, its amber flame casting long, dancing shadows across the stones, guiding you into the quiet unknown. As you move forward, the gate behind you seems to sigh, a low metallic groan that fades into the fog, as if the entrance itself is settling into a deep sleep. The path beneath your feet is smooth, the black and white stones polished by years of moonlight and the strange quiet magic of this place. You notice that the mist does not merely sit upon the ground, but moves with a slow, deliberate grace, flowing around the trunks of trees like a river of silk. Here, the boundaries of time feel thin, as if the very moments you inhabit are stretching and thinning into a long, peaceful silence. Your breath comes easily now, a slow and steady rhythm that matches the stillness of the air around you. To your left, a great willow tree stands, its long silver branches weeping toward the earth in the pale light. But as you watch, a single leaf, brown and brittle, lifts from the grass and floats upward, turning vibrant green as it nears the branch. It attaches itself with a silent, seamless grace, becoming part of the living canopy once more, as if the autumn is being undone by the night. You pause, watching this quiet reversal, feeling the weight of the day lifting from your shoulders just as the leaves lift from the ground. The tree does not grow toward the sky, but back toward its own beginning, a slow retreat into the strength of its youth. It is a sight that demands nothing of you, only your witness and your breath, as you stand in the presence of a world turning back the clock. Further along the path, a stone fountain carved from a single block of grey marble sits in a small circular clearing. The water does not splash down into the basin, but instead tiny droplets leap from the surface, flying upward to meet the central spout in a delicate reverse rain. The sound is not a splash, but a series of soft musical pops, like the clicking of glass beads against one another in a velvet bag. You reach out a hand, feeling the cool spray as it rises past your fingers, a sensation that is both strange and deeply comforting. The water is clear and cold, reflecting the stars above in a way that makes the basin look like a bowl of captured night. You stand by the fountain for a long time, letting the gentle upward rhythm of the water lull your mind into a state of quiet reflection. Beyond the fountain, a bed of dark purple roses grows against a low stone wall, their petals heavy with the silver dew of the garden. You watch as a fully bloomed flower slowly begins to fold its petals inward, tucking them tight against its heart until it becomes a firm, youthful bud. The thorns upon the stems are not sharp, but soft to the touch, as if the plant has forgotten the need to defend itself in this place of peace. The scent of the roses is thick and heady, a mixture of floral sweetness and the crisp, clean smell of a coming spring. There is a profound sense of safety here, within the walls of a garden that ungrows the scars of the world. Each movement is so slow, so deliberate, that it feels like a lullaby played on the strings of the earth itself. An ancient stone bench sits nearby, its surface covered in a fine layer of hoarfrost that sparkles like crushed diamonds under your lantern light. As you sit, the frost does not melt, but seems to shrink, the ice crystals retreating into the stone until the surface is dry and smooth. The stone is not cold, but holds a lingering warmth, as if it has spent the entire day soaking up the sun and is only now releasing it back into the night. You lean back, resting your head against the cool masonry, and look up at the sky where the stars seem larger and brighter than you have ever seen them. The constellations are familiar, yet they seem to pulse with a slow, rhythmic light that mirrors the beating of your own heart. In this moment, there is no past to worry over and no future to fear. Only the weight of your body against the stone and the cool air upon your face. In the center of the next clearing stands a sundial, its bronze face green with age and etched with symbols of the celestial spheres. The shadow cast by the moonlight does not move clockwise, but instead creeps slowly backward, marking the hours that have already passed. You trace the numbers with your finger, feeling the cool metal, and realize that here the night is not ending, but unfolding into a deeper, more profound stillness. The shadow moves with such agonizing slowness that it is almost impossible to see. Yet you feel the shift in the atmosphere, a deepening of the peace that surrounds you. It is a place where one can truly rest, for the pressure of time has been removed, replaced by a gentle, backwards flow. You close your eyes for a moment, listening to the silence of the sundial, and feel your thoughts drifting like the silver mist. To the right of the path, a Victorian-style greenhouse rises from the fog, its glass panes glowing with a soft, internal teal light. You can see cracks in the glass, but as you watch, the jagged lines smooth over, the shards knitting themselves back together until the panes are whole and clear once more. Inside, strange and beautiful plants reach toward the roof, their bioluminescent leaves casting a dreamlike glow across the interior. You do not enter, but stand at the glass, watching the light pulse and fade like the breath of a sleeping giant. The greenhouse is a sanctuary within a sanctuary, a place where the most delicate magics are nurtured and protected from the passage of time. The sight of the glass repairing itself is a quiet promise that all things can be made whole again, given enough silence and enough moonlight. Silver bells hang from a wooden trellis nearby, swaying gently in a wind that you cannot feel upon your skin. They make no sound as they move, a silent carillon that rings only in the quiet spaces of the mind. Each bell is engraved with a single rune, glowing with a faint white light that waxes and wanes with the rhythm of the bell's swing. You find yourself swaying with them, your body finding a natural, easy cadence that releases the last remnants of tension from your limbs. The trellis is covered in vines that are slowly turning from thick woody stalks into tender green shoots, climbing back down toward the soil. It is a dance of regression, a beautiful and slow retreat into the simplicity of the seed. You breathe in the scent of the wood and the silver bells, feeling a deep sense of belonging in this backwards turning world. A dark garden pond lies ahead, its surface so still it looks like a sheet of black glass, reflecting the moon with perfect clarity. A single ripple begins at the edge and moves inward, converging toward the center until it disappears into a single silent point. Lily pads on the surface are not growing, but shrinking, their broad leaves curling back into small, tight circles before vanishing beneath the water. You sit by the edge of the pond, watching the reflections of the stars dance upon the surface as the water pulls itself back into stillness. The depth of the pond is a mystery, a dark and peaceful void that seems to hold the secrets of the garden's silent magic. You feel a sense of profound calm as you watch the ripples vanish, as if your own worries are being pulled into the center and neutralized by the water. Near the pond stands a marble statue of a weeping woman, her face tilted toward the heavens with an expression of timeless sorrow. But the tears upon her cheeks are moving upward, trailing back toward her eyes, where they vanish into the cold white stone. As the tears disappear, the lines of grief on her face seem to soften, her expression shifting slowly toward one of quiet, expectant peace. The statue is not a monument to sadness, but a testament to the healing power of this place, where even the oldest sorrows can be undone. You reach out and touch the marble, finding it as smooth as silk and surprisingly warm to the touch. It feels as if the stone itself is alive, breathing with the same slow, backwards rhythm as the trees and the water. A swarm of fireflies appears in the air before you, but they do not fly in the erratic patterns of their kin. They blink into existence as bright golden sparks, then slowly fade into nothingness as they drift toward the earth, as if they are being born from the air itself. Their light is soft and warm, illuminating the path ahead with a flickering, ethereal glow that guides your steps deeper into the grove. You walk among them, feeling the tiny pulses of light against your skin, a sensation like the ghost of a warm summer breeze. They are the heralds of the garden's deepest secrets, the tiny lanterns of a world that is constantly renewing itself by looking back. You follow their golden trail, your heart light and your mind clear, as the path leads you toward a grove of white-barked trees. The white-barked birches stand like silent sentinels, their trunks glowing with a pale inner light that pushes back the shadows of the forest. The ground here is covered in a thick carpet of moss that is receding from the roots of the trees, revealing the rich, dark soil beneath. You walk with soft steps, the moss cushioning your feet and muffling the sound of your passage until you are moving in absolute silence. The air is thick with the scent of pine and old parchment, a comforting and scholarly smell that reminds you of ancient libraries and forgotten lore. Each tree seems to hold a memory, a story that is being untold as the bark grows smoother and the branches grow shorter. You feel like a traveler in a dream, moving through a landscape that is both strange and deeply familiar. A small stone bridge arches over a dry stream bed, the stones fitted together with a precision that suggests the work of master masons from a bygone age. As you cross, a low silver mist begins to fill the stream bed, flowing like water under the bridge and swirling around the mossy pilings. You pause at the apex of the bridge, looking down at the mist as it mimics the movement of a rushing brook, silent and ethereal. The reflection of the stars in the mist is blurred and soft, like jewels seen through a layer of fine gauze. You feel a sense of transition here, a crossing over from the outer garden into the inner sanctum of the Necromancer's domain. The bridge is a threshold, a place where the air grows even stiller and the magic of the backwards growth becomes even more potent. An archway made of bone-white vines stands at the end of the bridge, the thorns upon them softening into smooth grey bark as you approach. The vines are thick and strong, twisting around each other in a complex braid that seems to pulse with a faint, rhythmic light. You pass through the archway, feeling a slight tingle of magic against your skin, like the touch of a cold silk curtain. On the other side, the garden opens up into a vast, moonlit meadow where the grass is a pale, shimmering blue. The flowers here are unlike any you have seen before, their petals glowing with a soft internal light that changes color as they fold themselves back into buds. You stand at the edge of the meadow, taking in the vastness of the space and the profound silence that hangs over it like a heavy velvet cloak. To your left, an old stone wall is slowly losing its coat of green moss, the patches of velvet soft plant life getting smaller and smaller until the clean grey stone is revealed. The wall is ancient, yet it looks newer with every passing moment, the cracks and weather-beaten scars of centuries slowly smoothing away. You run your hand along the stone, feeling the texture shift from rough and pitted to smooth and cool. It is as if the wall is being rebuilt by the hands of time itself, returning to the day it was first laid by the builders of this estate. This process of renewal is not a frantic thing, but a slow and graceful return to a state of perfection. You find yourself leaning against the wall, watching the moss vanish, and feeling a similar renewal taking place within your own spirit. A stone pedestal stands in the center of the meadow, supporting a floating orb of pale blue fire that illuminates the surrounding grass with a ghostly light. The flame does not flicker or smoke, but remains perfectly still, a sphere of pure, cold energy that seems to draw the shadows toward it. You approach the pedestal, the blue light reflecting in your eyes and casting a long, steady shadow behind you on the blue grass. The air around the orb is cold, yet it is a refreshing cold, the kind that clears the mind and sharpens the senses. You stand before the flame, letting its steady light wash over you, feeling the last of your worldly concerns being drawn away by the silent fire. It is a beacon of peace, a stationary point in a garden that is constantly moving backward. Nearby, a wooden garden shed sits tucked against the edge of the woods, its weathered boards turning from grey to a rich, warm brown as you watch. The rusted iron hinges on the door are losing their orange crust, the metal becoming bright and silver once more as the rust retreats. You peek through the small window and see old, worn tools hanging on the walls, their wooden handles becoming smooth and their metal blades becoming sharp and polished. The shed is not a place of decay, but a place of restoration, where the tools of the garden are prepared for a work that has already been done. The sight of the tools returning to their prime is a reminder that nothing is ever truly lost, only waiting for the right moment to be restored. You turn away from the shed, feeling a sense of satisfaction and quiet joy at the sight of such humble things being made new. On the distant horizon, the moon is not rising, but descending slowly back toward the eastern trees from which it came. Its light is a constant, steady glow that bathes the entire garden in a soft silver radiance, making every leaf and stone look like a work of art. The sky is a deep, velvety indigo, the stars scattered across it like handfuls of diamonds thrown upon a dark cloth. You realize that the night is not moving toward the dawn, but back toward the sunset, a long and beautiful evening that never truly ends. This realization brings with it a profound sense of relief, the knowledge that you have all the time in the world to explore the wonders of this place. As the path curves deeper into the heart of the estate, the air grows colder, and the scent of damp earth and ancient stone begins to shift into something far more mysterious. The air carries a scent now, something like ozone and crushed violets, cooling your skin as you step onto a path of polished obsidian. Beneath your feet, the stones are perfectly smooth, as if the many years of travelers' footsteps have been erased, leaving only the pristine surface of the first day they were laid. You walk with a slow, deliberate pace, hearing the soft, rhythmic click of your boots against the dark stone, a sound that seems to echo with a strange, hollow clarity. The mist around your ankles is thick and white, swirling in gentle patterns that mimic the flow of a river, though it moves against the direction of the wind. To your left, a fountain of white marble stands in a circle of silver ferns, its basin carved with the likenesses of sleeping dragons. The water does not splash down into the basin, but rises in delicate, shimmering ribbons from the pool, ascending toward the sky like liquid silk. You watch a single droplet rise, catching the moonlight, a tiny diamond traveling home to the clouds above. The sound it makes is a soft, melodic hum, a reverse splash that vibrates in the center of your chest, bringing a sense of profound stillness. You linger here for a moment, letting the upward rain mist your face with a cool, refreshing dampness. Beyond the fountain, a grove of ghost lilies begins to sway, though there is no breeze to move them. These flowers are translucent, their petals like fine lace spun from moonlight, and they do not bloom, but rather they unwilt. You watch a shriveled brown stalk slowly straighten, its color returning from a muddy earth tone to a vibrant pearlescent white. The petals unfurl with a sound like soft parchment being smoothed by a careful hand, revealing a heart of glowing gold. It is a slow, graceful transformation, a quiet victory over the passage of time that leaves the air smelling of sweet nectar. As you continue, you see a stone archway that was once surely a ruin, its jagged edges now softening into clean, sharp lines. The cracks in the ancient granite are closing, the moss retreating into the earth as the stone heals itself before your very eyes. You reach out to touch the surface, finding it warm and vibrating with a faint, rhythmic pulse, like the heartbeat of the world itself. The history of the archway is being rewritten, the scars of centuries vanishing until only the strength of the original mason's work remains. You pass beneath it, feeling a shift in the atmosphere, a deepening of the silence that wraps around you like a heavy, velvet cloak. In the distance, a great conservatory of glass and iron rises from the mist, its many panes reflecting the stars like a faceted jewel. The glass is not dusty or cracked, but gleams with a preternatural brightness, as if it has just been polished by 1,000 invisible hands. You see a pane that was once shattered, now pulling its shards back together, the jagged pieces leaping from the grass to knit into a seamless, transparent whole. The iron frames, once rusted and thin, are thickening and darkening into a rich, lustrous black, reclaiming their original forged strength. It is a cathedral of preservation, a place where the very idea of breaking is being forgotten. Inside the conservatory, the air is heavy with the scent of damp earth and growing things, a humid warmth that settles comfortably on your shoulders. Rows of wooden benches hold ceramic pots, and within them the plants are performing their slow, backward dance. Vines that were once long and tangled are retreating toward their roots, their leaves turning from the deep green of summer to the tender pale lime of spring. You see a rose bush where the thorns are softening, shrinking back into the stem until the wood is as smooth as a polished cane. The roses themselves are tightening into firm green buds, their scent becoming more concentrated and sharp as they prepare to return to the earth. On a central table, a collection of glass jars holds various seeds and dried herbs, their labels written in a flowing, elegant script. You notice a quill pen resting in a silver inkwell, moving across a piece of parchment without a hand to guide it. It is not writing words, but erasing them, the dark ink lifting from the page and vanishing back into the tip of the quill. The parchment, once yellowed and brittle, is becoming white and supple, the fibers smoothing out until it looks as fresh as the day it was made. You stand in silence, watching the history of a scholar's thoughts being tucked back into the silence of the mind. A tall grandfather clock stands against the far wall, its wooden casing carved with scenes of the celestial spheres. The pendulum swings with a slow, heavy thud, and the hands move steadily in a counterclockwise circle, marking the unpassing of the hours. With every tick, the brass gears inside the clock grow brighter, the oil within them becoming clear and viscous once more. The sound is not a countdown, but a count up, a reminder that in this garden there is always more time than you could ever need. You feel the tension in your own limbs begin to dissolve, the weight of your years lightening as you synchronize your breath to the clock's steady, backwards rhythm. You find a path of moon moss that glows with a soft bioluminescent blue, leading you deeper into the heart of the glass house. The moss feels like thick plush carpet beneath your feet, dampening the sound of your movements until you are walking in absolute silence. Small, winged insects, like tiny sparks of fire, drift through the air, their flight paths a series of perfect geometric loops. They do not buzz or hum, but emit a faint, tinkling sound like wind chimes made of glass, a delicate music that lulls your senses. You follow the blue glow, feeling as though you are walking through a dream where every shadow is a friend and every light is a promise. You come upon a stone bench carved from a single block of sapphire-colored marble, its surface cool and inviting. As you sit, you notice that the air around the bench is warmer than the rest of the conservatory, a pocket of gentle heat that radiates from the stone. Looking down, you see a small puddle on the floor where a leak in the roof had once allowed the rain to enter. The water is being drawn upward in a thin silver thread, disappearing through a hole in the glass that is slowly sealing itself shut. The puddle shrinks until the floor is perfectly dry, the memory of the storm being erased by the garden's relentless care. Nearby, a trellis of jasmine is undergoing a similar transformation, its white flowers closing into tiny, star-shaped pearls. The scent is overwhelming, a concentrated essence of nighttime and secret gardens that fills your lungs and clears your head. You watch as a fallen leaf lifts itself from the ground, spinning slowly as it reattaches to a stem, its edges turning from brown to vibrant green. There is no waste here, no debris, only a constant, quiet effort to return everything to its most perfect state. You lean your head back against the marble, closing your eyes and listening to the sound of the plants growing younger. When you open your eyes, you see a bridge made of spectral light spanning a small indoor stream where the water flows toward the mountains. The bridge is not solid, but composed of shimmering particles that dance and swirl, yet it feels firm and reliable as you step onto it. Below, the fish swim backward, their scales flashing like silver coins as they move against the current with effortless grace. The stream bed is lined with smooth white pebbles that grow larger and rounder as the water polishes them in reverse. You pause at the center of the bridge, looking down at your own reflection, which seems a little brighter, a little more rested than it did an hour ago. A grove of memory oaks stands on the other side of the bridge, their massive trunks twisted into shapes that suggest ancient wisdom. These trees do not drop acorns, but rather the acorns rise from the soil and press themselves back into the caps on the branches. The leaves, currently a deep and regal gold, are slowly shifting back toward the lush green of midsummer, their veins pulsing with a slow, steady life. You can hear the sap moving within the bark, a sound like a distant underground river carrying the nutrients of the earth back to the roots. It is a forest in retreat, a sanctuary where the end of the story is being traded for a beautiful beginning. You notice a statue of a woman standing in a small clearing, her face tilted toward the glass ceiling with an expression of quiet longing. Two trails of moisture on her cheeks are being drawn back into her eyes, her stone form becoming smoother and more detailed as the weather-wear of decades vanishes. Her gown, once chipped and moss-grown, is now a masterpiece of flowing drapery, every fold and crease perfectly preserved. She is not a memorial to someone lost, but a celebration of someone being found, a testament to the garden's power to heal even the coldest stone. You feel a sense of kinship with her, a shared understanding of the peace that comes from letting go of the forward march of time. A gateway made of living vines stands at the end of the grove, the thick stalks untwisting themselves to create an opening for you. The vines are covered in soft silver fur, and they pulse with a gentle warmth as you pass through them, like the touch of a kind hand. Beyond the gate, the landscape opens up into a wide, rolling meadow of stardust clover, each three-leafed plant flickering with a tiny internal light. The meadow looks like a reflection of the night sky, a sea of green and silver that stretches out toward a horizon that never quite arrives. You walk into the clover, the soft lights dancing around your feet like grounded stars, guiding you toward the next discovery. The silence here is different, deeper and more resonant, as if the world is holding its breath in anticipation of a secret. You can hear the faint, rhythmic thrumming of the earth, a low-frequency vibration that anchors you to the present moment even as time moves backward. The air is perfectly still, yet it feels alive, charged with the magic of 1,000 unlived years waiting to be experienced. You find yourself moving with a grace you didn't know you possessed, your footsteps light and effortless as you glide through the glowing clover. The garden is not just a place you are visiting, but a state of being that you are slowly entering. In the center of the meadow, a small pavilion made of white wood and silk curtains stands bathed in the light of the descending moon. The silk is unfraying, the threads weaving themselves back into a solid, lustrous fabric that ripples like water in the still air. You step inside, finding a low table set with a single silver chalice and a bowl of fruit that is becoming riper and fresher by the minute. The grapes are firm and dusted with a fine silver bloom, and the apples are crisp and fragrant, their skins unbruising as they sit in the bowl. You take a seat on a pile of cushions that feel like clouds, the fabric soft and cool against your skin. You pick up the chalice, which is filled with a clear, sparkling liquid that tastes of mountain snow and wild honey. As you drink, you feel the coolness spread through your body, washing away the last traces of fatigue and worry from your mind. The liquid is a tonic of remembrance and renewal, a gift from the master of this estate to those who seek the path of quiet reflection. You set the chalice down, watching as the level of the liquid slowly rises, the cup refilling itself from the very air you breathe. It is a bounty that never ends, a wellspring of peace that flows backward from the future into your heart. Outside the pavilion, the stars are beginning to cluster more closely together, their light becoming a solid, shimmering canopy that shields the garden from the outside world. The indigo sky is deepening, the colors of the sunset beginning to bleed back into the horizon in shades of rose, amber, and violet. You realize that the night is not ending, but unfolding in reverse, a long and beautiful evening that is only just beginning to reveal its true depth. The sense of urgency that governs the world beyond the gates is entirely absent here, replaced by a vast and comfortable eternity. You lean back against the cushions, watching the silk curtains sway in a phantom breeze, their motion a slow and hypnotic dance. The light in the pavilion is soft and golden, casting long, gentle shadows that seem to tell stories of things that have yet to happen. You feel a profound sense of belonging, a knowledge that this garden has been waiting for you to find your way to its center. As the colors of the sky continue to shift, you prepare yourself to move deeper into the mysteries that lie ahead, toward the very heart of this backwards growing world. You rise from the soft cushions of the pavilion, feeling the gentle weight of the air as it presses softly against your skin. The silk curtains part of their own accord, inviting you back into the cool night air. Your feet find the path once more, but the gravel beneath your boots is no longer rough. It has become smoother, the sharp edges worn away by the peculiar passage of time in this place. Each step you take feels like a return, a movement toward a beginning rather than an end. The orchard ahead is a forest of silver and shadow, where the trees do not grow tall, but rather they grow young. You watch as a heavy silver pear, hanging from a gnarled branch, begins to shrink. Its skin turns from a matte gray to a vibrant, youthful green, before the fruit itself dissolves into a cluster of white blossoms. The scent of spring, fresh and sharp, rises from the ground, as if the very seasons were being undone right before your eyes. Leaves that were once brown and brittle on the forest floor are lifting. They rise on invisible currents of magic, to reattach themselves to the waiting branches. They turn from gold to copper to a deep, succulent emerald, filling the canopy above with a lushness that defies the midnight hour. The sound is like 1,000 tiny sighs, the rustle of life reclaiming its place in the world. As you walk deeper into the orchard, the air grows thick with the hum of bees that fly backward through the twilight. Their wings create a low, vibrating drone that resonates in your chest, a soothing frequency that anchors you to this moment. You find a small stone bench carved from a single block of white marble. It is cool to the touch, and as you run your hand over its surface, you feel the chisel marks becoming sharper as if the stone were being newly fashioned by an unseen hand. You sit for a moment, watching the shadows of the trees dance across the grass. These shadows do not lengthen with the passing of time, but instead they pull inward toward the trunks, as if seeking shelter from the encroaching light of a sun that has not yet risen. The logic of this garden is a beautiful, quiet puzzle, one that does not require solving, only witness. You feel the tension in your shoulders melt away, replaced by a sense of profound and heavy peace. A stream winds its way through the center of the orchard, its water clear as liquid diamond. But the water does not flow toward the sea. It flows upward toward the mountain peaks in the distance, tumbling over smooth stones with a sound like silver bells ringing in the deep. You stand by the bank, watching as the ripples move against the current, carrying fallen petals back to the trees from which they fell. You reach down to touch the water, and it feels not cold, but invigoratingly fresh. It carries the taste of ancient glaciers and the memory of the first rain that ever fell upon this land. As you pull your hand away, the droplets do not fall back into the stream. They rise upward like tiny translucent pearls, vanishing into the mist that hangs low over the grass. It is a world of constant quiet ascension. Beyond the stream stands a row of statues carved in the likeness of ancient kings and queens. Their faces, once weathered by centuries of wind and rain, are becoming smooth and regal once more. The moss that covered them is receding, revealing the intricate patterns of their stone robes and the sharp, clear lines of their crowns. They seem to be waking from a long, stony sleep, their expressions softening into ones of quiet contemplation. You walk past them, feeling their silent gaze, which is not judging, but welcoming. They are the guardians of this backward realm, keepers of the memory of what it means to be young and full of hope. The path beneath you has turned to soft moss, a vibrant bioluminescent carpet that glows with a soft blue light whenever your foot touches it. It is like walking upon a sea of stars, each step a gentle spark in the darkness. The air here smells of crushed mint and wet earth, a grounding, earthy fragrance that balances the ethereal magic of the trees. You find yourself breathing more deeply, the air filling your lungs with a quiet strength. There is no hurry here, no need to reach a destination, for every moment is a return to a state of grace. You are moving toward the very heart of the Necromancer's vision, a place where death is merely a forgotten dream. In the distance, a tall, slender tower made of black glass rises above the trees. It does not cast a shadow, but instead it seems to drink in the moonlight, glowing with an inner purple fire. This is the Conservatory of Echoes, where the sounds of the past are gathered and played in reverse, creating a melody that has no beginning and no end. The music reaches you now, a faint, haunting strain of harps and flutes that makes your heart feel light as down. You follow the sound, drawn by its strange and beautiful harmony. The trees here are taller, their branches interlacing to form a natural cathedral of leaves and light. Fireflies with wings of gossamer and bodies of gold drift through the air, their light pulsing in time with the music. They do not flicker, but glow with a steady, unwavering radiance, like tiny lanterns hung by invisible threads. You come upon a clearing where a great sundial of obsidian sits in the center. Its shadow, cast by the moon, moves counterclockwise, marking the hours that are being unlived. You watch as the shadow crosses the mark for midnight and begins to move toward the evening of the day before. It is a reminder that in this garden the future is behind you, and the past is a bright and unfolding horizon. Near the sundial, a cluster of night-blooming jasmine is unfurling, its white petals opening to the moon with a slow, deliberate grace. The fragrance is intoxicating, a sweet, heavy scent that wraps around you like a warm blanket. You feel a sense of drowsiness beginning to settle over your mind, a comfortable and welcome fatigue that speaks of a long journey coming to a peaceful rest. You find a path of white stones that leads toward the tower of black glass. The stones are cool and smooth, and they seem to hum with a low, rhythmic vibration that matches the beating of your own heart. It is a grounding sensation, a reminder that you are part of this magical world, a thread in the tapestry of the Necromancer's creation. You move forward with a sense of quiet anticipation, eager to see what mysteries the tower holds. The entrance to the tower is a great archway of twisted silver, shaped like the branches of a willow tree. There are no doors, only a shimmering veil of mage-light that ripples like water in a breeze. You step through the veil, and the sound of the garden fades away, replaced by a profound and heavy silence. The air inside is cool and still, scented with the smell of old parchment and dried lavender. The ground floor of the tower is a vast circular room, its walls lined with shelves of books that have no titles. These are the volumes of unwritten history, the stories of lives that are being lived in reverse. You run your fingers along the spines of the books, feeling the tingle of magic beneath your touch. Each book is a vessel of memory, a record of a time that is yet to come, or perhaps has already been. In the center of the room, a spiral staircase made of carved bone wins its way upward into the darkness. The steps are wide and shallow, designed for a slow and measured ascent. You begin to climb, your footsteps echoing softly in the vast space. With each step, you feel the weight of the world outside falling away until you are nothing but a consciousness drifting through a sea of quiet magic. You reach a landing where a large, circular window looks out over the garden. From this height, the orchard looks like a sea of silver and green, the reverse flowing stream a vein of liquid light winding through the trees. You can see the pavilion where you rested and the statues of the kings and queens standing silent watch over the ungrowing world. It is a sight of breathtaking beauty, a testament to the power of a mind that refused to accept the finality of time. You continue your climb, the air growing thinner and colder as you ascend. But it is not an unpleasant cold. It is the crisp, clean chill of the high mountains, a cold that clears the mind and sharpens the senses. You feel a sense of clarity, a knowledge that you are exactly where you are meant to be, The tower is a sanctuary, a place of reflection and renewal, where the soul can find its way back to its origin. As you reach the top of the staircase, you find yourself in a small, domed chamber filled with the light of 1,000 floating candles. They drift through the air, their flames steady and bright, casting a warm golden glow over everything. In the center of the room sits a simple wooden desk and a chair upholstered in velvet the color of a midnight sky. On the desk lies a single white feather and a vial of ink that never runs dry. You take a seat in the chair, feeling the velvet, soft and familiar, against your back. The candles drift closer, their warmth a gentle caress on your face. You pick up the feather and dip it into the ink, feeling the urge to record your journey, to leave a mark upon this world that grows backward. You begin to write the words flowing from your mind to the page in a steady, rhythmic stream as you prepare to descend into the deeper layers of the garden's ancient memory. The ink upon the parchment does not dry in the way you might expect. It shimmers with a faint violet light, as if the words are holding their breath, waiting for the past to catch up with them. You write of the silver trees and the stream that flows toward its source, feeling the weight of the quill in your hand. It is light, lighter than a thought, yet it carries the gravity of 1,000 years. As you leave the domed chamber, the floating candles lean toward you, as if whispering their own silent farewells. You step back onto the bone staircase and begin the long, slow walk down into the heart of the tower. Your footsteps are swallowed by the soft velvet silence of the archive as you descend floor by floor. The air grows thicker with the scent of ancient earth and the faint metallic tang of magic that has settled like dust. On the third landing, you pause to admire a mural that seems to move when you are not looking directly at it. It depicts the garden in its infancy, which here means its most grand and sprawling state before it began, its journey back to the seed. The colors are deep and vibrant jewel tones of emerald and sapphire that glow with an inner light. You feel a sense of profound peace as you gaze upon the painted leaves and the still painted water. Continuing your descent, you reach the base of the tower, where a heavy oak door stands slightly ajar. You push it open, the hinges making no sound, and find yourself in a hallway lined with blue glowing moss. The walls are made of rough-hewn stone, cool to the touch and damp with the moisture of the earth. You follow the path of the moss, its soft light guiding you toward a new and unexplored part of the garden. This is the conservatory of glass and iron, a structure that seems to defy the weight of the world. The panes of glass are thick and wavy, distorting the moonlight into patterns that dance upon the floor. Inside, the air is warm and humid, filled with the scent of night-blooming jasmine and damp soil. You walk along the narrow paths between the rows of exotic plants, their leaves brushing against your cloak like gentle hands. In the center of the conservatory stands a fountain made of white marble, its basin carved with the likenesses of mythical beasts. The water does not fall downward, but rises in a fine silver mist that hangs in the air like a veil. You reach out and touch the mist, feeling its coolness upon your skin, a refreshing contrast to the warmth of the air. It tastes of rain and starlight, a pure and elemental essence. Beyond the fountain, a row of silver trees stands in silent sentinel, their leaves made of crystal, that tinkles softly in the still air. Each leaf is a masterpiece of delicate craftsmanship, catching the light and refracting it into 1,000 tiny rainbows. You walk beneath the silver boughs, the sound of the leaves, a gentle lullaby that soothes your weary mind. It is a place of absolute stillness, where time has no meaning, and the world outside is but a distant memory. Leaving the conservatory, you find yourself on a path paved with moonstone, its surface glowing with a soft, milky light. The path winds through a grove of dark ferns, their fronds unfurling in reverse as you pass. You feel a sense of wonder at the intricate beauty of it all, the way the garden is constantly recreating itself in a cycle of eternal return. It is a testament to the power of memory and the enduring nature of the soul. As you walk, you come across a small stone bridge that arches over a stream of liquid light. The water, if it can be called that, flows with a slow and rhythmic pulse, like the heartbeat of the earth itself. You stand upon the bridge for a long moment, watching the light as it ripples and swirls around the mossy stones. It is a sight of hypnotic beauty, a reminder of the hidden depths that lie beneath the surface of things. On the other side of the bridge stands a gate made of living ivy, its leaves pulsing with a soft green light. The gate opens at your approach, the vines parting like a curtain, to reveal a courtyard of obsidian and starlight. In the center of the courtyard float dozens of stone lanterns, their flames a steady golden glow. The floor is polished to a high shine, reflecting the lanterns like a sea of fallen stars. You find a bench carved from a single piece of obsidian and take a seat, feeling the cool, smooth stone beneath you. Above, the sky is a deep, velvety black, scattered with stars that seem closer and brighter than you have ever seen. You sit in silence for a long time, letting the peace of the courtyard wash over you like a gentle tide. It is a moment of perfect clarity, a time to simply be and to breathe. In the corner of the courtyard you discover a small library of glass jars, each containing a swirling mist of a different color. These are the bottled memories of the garden, the distilled essence of moments that have been and will be again. You pick up a jar filled with a soft rose-colored mist and feel a wave of warmth and affection wash over you. It is a memory of a summer afternoon, of laughter and the scent of sun-warmed hay. You carefully replace the jar and continue your exploration, your heart light and your mind at ease. You come across a trellis of roses, their petals shifting in color from a pure snowy white to a deep blood red. As you watch, a bud begins to close, its petals folding tightly inward until it is once again a tiny green promise. It is a beautiful and poignant reminder of the passage of time and the inevitability of change. The path leads you toward a stone archway covered in a fine silver frost that shimmers in the moonlight. Beyond the archway lies a subterranean grotto, its walls lined with glowing blue crystals that cast a soft, ethereal light. The sound of dripping water echoes through the space, a rhythmic and soothing cadence that lulls you into a state of deep relaxation. You feel the cool, damp air upon your face, a refreshing change from the warmth of the conservatory. In the center of the grotto lies a pool of crystal clear water, its surface as still as a mirror. You look into the pool and see your own reflection, but it is not as you know it. Your image seems older and wiser, your eyes filled with the knowledge of 1,000 lifetimes. You realize that the pool is showing you not who you are, but who you have been and who you will become. You turn away from the pool and find yourself at the entrance to a hall of mirrors. Each mirror is framed in silver and reflects a different version of the garden at a different point in time. You walk through the hall, your reflection, dancing from mirror to mirror, a kaleidoscope of memories and possibilities. It is a disorienting yet fascinating experience, a journey through the labyrinth of the self. At the end of the hall, you find a quiet corner with a small stone fireplace where a fire of blue embers burns low. You sit by the fire, feeling its gentle warmth, and watch the shadows as they dance upon the walls. The air is filled with the scent of cedar and dried herbs, a comforting and familiar aroma. You feel a sense of deep contentment and knowledge that you are safe and protected in this magical place. You notice a small wooden door tucked away in the corner, its surface covered in intricate silver runes. You feel a pull toward the door, a sense of curiosity and anticipation. You reach out and touch the runes, feeling a faint, tingling sensation in your fingertips. The door swings open, revealing a long, dark tunnel that leads deep into the earth. You enter the tunnel, your footsteps echoing softly on the stone floor as the light of the fireplace fades behind you. The air is cool and still, scented with the smell of damp earth and ancient stone. You feel a sense of purpose, a knowledge that you are moving toward something important, something that has been waiting for you for a very long time. The tunnel opens into a vast underground chamber filled with the massive glowing roots of the silver trees. They twist and turn like giant serpents, their surface pulsing with a soft golden light. You feel the power of the earth surging through the roots, a primal and elemental energy. You have reached the heart of the garden, the source of its magic and its memory as you prepare to descend into the silent vaults beneath the earth. The golden light of the massive roots slowly recedes as you step into the first of the silent vaults. Here the air is remarkably still, holding the weight of many centuries in a single quiet breath. The stone walls are smooth and cool to the touch, carved from a single massive block of obsidian. You can feel the low hum of the earth vibrating through the soles of your boots, a steady and grounding presence. This is the place where the garden's memory is kept safe and undisturbed by the passage of time. Every footstep you take is muffled by a layer of soft silver dust that glitters like fallen stars. To your left, a row of tall wooden shelves stretches into the darkness, laden with jars of every shape and size. Within these vessels you see not liquids, but swirling silver mists that seem to hold the very essence of the garden's past. Small, handwritten labels in a script. You do not recognize cling to the glass, their ink still fresh as if written only moments ago. You reach out and brush a finger against a jar, feeling a faint warmth that radiates from within. It is the warmth of a summer afternoon long since forgotten by the world above. You continue deeper into the vault, where the ceiling rises into a high vaulted arch. There a single stone lectern stands in the center of the room, holding a heavy, leather-bound book. The pages are made of thin, translucent vellum, and they turn slowly of their own accord, as if read by an invisible hand. You watch as the ink on the pages seems to flow and shift, forming images of flowers that bloom and then return to the earth. It is a record of the garden's backward growth, a testament to the Necromancer's unique and powerful vision. In a corner of the vault, you find a small indoor garden where a single red rose is growing. You watch in fascination as the petals slowly and gracefully fold back into the center of the flower. The bloom becomes a bud, and the bud grows smaller and tighter until it is nothing more than a tiny green speck. The stem then recedes into the soil, leaving no trace of the rose's existence. It is a beautiful and haunting sight, a reminder of the delicate and fleeting nature of life. You move toward a wall covered in hundreds of small glass hourglasses, each one filled with fine golden sand. But the sand does not fall from the top to the bottom. Instead, it flows upward in a steady and rhythmic stream. Each hourglass represents a different plant in the garden, and its upward flow marks the progress of its backward growth. The sound of the sand as it hits the glass is a soft and soothing hiss, like the sound of a distant sea. You find yourself mesmerized by the movement of the sand, your mind drifting into a state of deep and peaceful contemplation. Beyond the hourglasses lies a fountain of liquid mercury, its surface as smooth and reflective as a mirror. The mercury does not flow in a continuous stream, but rises in individual droplets that hang in the air for a moment before falling back into the pool. Each droplet reflects the soft blue light of the crystals that line the walls, creating a shimmering and ethereal display. The sound of the mercury as it hits the pool is a series of soft metallic pings that echo through the vault. You feel a sense of profound calm as you watch the droplets rise and fall, their movement a perfect and harmonious dance. The ceiling of the next chamber is covered in a thick layer of bioluminescent moss that glows with a soft green light. The moss is arranged in a pattern that resembles a star map, with tiny glowing spores that twinkle like distant suns. You lie down on a bed of soft green moss and gaze up at the ceiling, feeling as if you are floating in the vastness of space. The air is cool and fresh, scented with the smell of damp earth and growing things. You feel a sense of deep and restful slumber as you close your eyes and let the soft green light wash over you. You awaken to the sound of soft ethereal music that seems to come from the very walls of the vault. It is a melody of haunting beauty, played on instruments that you have never seen. You follow the sound to a suit of ancient elven armor that stands in a niche in the wall. The armor is made of a silver metal that glows with a soft white light, and it holds a large glowing crystal orb. The orb pulses in time, with the music its light illuminating the intricate carvings on the armor. You feel a sense of awe and wonder as you gaze at the armor, a relic of a long-forgotten age. In the center of the next room stands a large wooden loom, its frame carved from the wood of a silver tree. The loom is threaded with fine silver wires that are being woven into a complex and beautiful tapestry. The tapestry depicts a vast and ancient forest, its trees tall and majestic, their leaves shimmering in the moonlight. But as you watch, the threads are being unwoven by invisible hands, and the forest is slowly disappearing. It is a visual representation of the garden's backward growth, a reminder that all things must eventually return to their source. You pass through a circle of stone druid statues, their faces weathered and worn by the passage of time. The statues are covered in a thick layer of moss that seems to be growing and then disappearing in a never-ending cycle. You feel a sense of deep and ancient wisdom emanating from the statues, as if they are the guardians of the garden's secrets. You reach out and touch the cold stone of a statue, feeling a sense of connection to the past and the natural world. The air is heavy, with the scent of damp earth and ancient stone, a smell that is both grounding and mysterious. Before you lies a deep obsidian pool, its surface as still and dark as the night sky. You look into the pool and see not your own reflection, but an ancient and unburnt forest, its trees tall and proud. The forest is filled with life, the sound of birds singing, and the rustle of leaves in the wind. It is a glimpse into the past, a vision of the world as it once was, before the Necromancer's garden began its backward journey. You feel a sense of longing for this lost world, a world of beauty and wonder that is now only a memory. You cross a narrow stone bridge that spans a deep and dark chasm filled with a soft violet mist. The mist swirls and eddies below you like a sea of clouds, its surface illuminated by the soft blue light of the crystals. You feel a sense of vertigo as you look down into the chasm, but the bridge is solid and sure under your feet. The air is cool and damp, and the sound of dripping water echoes through the chasm, a rhythmic and soothing cadence. You feel a sense of peace and tranquility as you move across the bridge, your mind as clear and still as the air. On the other side of the bridge, you find a row of bronze incense burners, their surfaces tarnished by age. Each burner emits a thick, slow-moving smoke that smells of sandalwood and dried lavender. The smoke curls and twists in the air, forming shapes that seem to dance and play in the soft light. You breathe in the sweet and heavy scent of the incense, feeling it fill your lungs and calm your spirit. You feel a sense of deep and restful relaxation as you sit by the burners and watch the smoke as it drifts away. You enter a hallway of mirrors, each one reflecting a different version of the garden at a different point in time. In one mirror, you see the garden in full bloom, its flowers vibrant and colorful in the sunlight. In another, you see the garden as a barren wasteland, its trees skeletal and bare against a gray sky. The mirrors are framed in ornate silver, and they seem to pulse with a soft white light. You walk through the hallway, your reflection dancing from mirror to mirror, a kaleidoscope of memories and possibilities. At the end of the hallway, you find an altar made of white marble, its surface smooth and polished. On the altar sits a single white candle, its flame steady and bright, despite the absence of any breeze. The candle never seems to burn down, its wax remaining as white and pure as the day it was made. You feel a sense of peace and hope as you gaze at the candle, a symbol of light in the darkness of the vaults. The air is still and quiet, and you feel a sense of deep and profound reverence. You walk down a long corridor of arched windows that look out into a vast and empty void of stars. The stars are bright and clear, their light reflecting off the stone floor of the corridor. You feel a sense of insignificance as you gaze at the stars, a reminder of the vastness and mystery of the universe. The air is cold and crisp, and the only sound is the soft echo of your footsteps on the stone. You feel a sense of wonder and awe as you move through the corridor, your mind filled with the beauty of the night sky. At the end of the corridor you find a heavy gate of cold iron, its surface covered in intricate clockwork mechanisms. The gate is locked with a series of moon-shaped locks, their surfaces glowing with a soft silver light, You feel a sense of anticipation as you reach out and touch the locks, feeling the cool metal against your skin. The clockwork begins to turn with a soft clicking sound, and the gate slowly swings open. You step through the gate and find yourself in a small, cozy alcove with a soft velvet chair. The alcove is lit by a small blue fire that burns in a stone hearth, its flames dancing and flickering in the darkness. You sit in the velvet chair, feeling its soft and comforting embrace as you watch the fire. The air is filled with the scent of cedar and dried herbs, a familiar and soothing aroma. You feel a sense of deep contentment, a knowledge that you are safe and protected in this magical place. The blue fire begins to whisper secrets of the deepest earth, preparing you for the final descent. The whispers of the blue fire linger in the quiet corners of your mind as you slowly rise and leave the soft velvet comfort of the alcove. Before you lies a doorway carved with meticulous care from a single massive block of star-flecked basalt that seems to absorb the very light around it. Beyond this threshold, a spiral stair of polished obsidian winds downward into the silent and ancient depths of the earth. The stone is cool and smooth beneath your touch, and the air grows heavy with the scent of damp subterranean stone and the fragrance of distant blooming things. As you descend, the azure glow of the hearth slowly fades, replaced by a soft, rhythmic and hypnotic pulsing from the darkness below. You count the steps in your mind to keep a steady pace, 72, 73, 74, until the stairs finally come to an end. You step out into a chamber so vast and open that the ceiling is lost in a shimmering haze of violet and gold. Here, the laws of the natural world are turned completely inside out, and the garden grows from the very sky of the cavern. Vines as thick and strong as a dragon's tail hang down from above, draped in leaves that shimmer like crushed emeralds in the twilight. Small, delicate flowers, shaped like intricate crystal bells, sway in a wind you cannot feel ringing with a sound. So faint it is almost a memory of a song. You walk beneath this living canopy of light, your boots making no sound on the soft and springy mossy floor. The moss is a deep and royal indigo, and it glows with a soft bioluminescence wherever you step, leaving a trail of fading footprints behind you. To your left, a stream of liquid silver flows, not down but up, a gentle and winding incline of smooth river stones. The water hums a low and melodic tune as it bubbles over pebbles that shine like fallen stars in the dark. You reach out and touch the cool surface of the water, and it feels like liquid silk against your skin, warm and pulsing with a strange life. The stream carries the echoes of 1,000 forgotten songs, whispering of times and places that have not yet come to pass. You follow the silver stream as it winds gracefully through a grove of trees with bark that looks like polished and weathered pewter. The leaves are thin and translucent, appearing like delicate shards of frosted glass that catch the bioluminescent light of the cavern. As you walk, you notice with a sense of wonder that the fallen leaves on the ground are slowly lifting, rising, to reattach themselves to the branches above. Time in this hidden place is a river that flows in every direction, all at once, without hurry. In the center of the pewter grove stands a magnificent fountain carved from a single giant and luminous pearl. Instead of water falling into a basin, droplets of liquid light rise from the bottom, floating lazily upward into the cool air. They drift like tiny glowing bubbles popping with a soft and musical chime when they reach the height of your shoulder. You stand by the fountain for a long and peaceful moment, watching the light dance and play in the deep stillness of the cavern. Beyond the grove, the path opens up into a wide and rolling meadow of tall and shimmering silver grass. The grass ripples in a slow and rhythmic wave, as if the earth itself were breathing in a deep and profoundly restful sleep. You walk through the meadow, the silver blades brushing against your cloak with a sound like rustling silk or a soft whisper. In the distance you see a structure made entirely of clear and flawless glass, its walls shimmering in the soft purple light. This is the great conservatory, a sanctuary where the most delicate of the garden's creations are kept and nurtured. You enter through a door that slides open without a single sound, and the air inside is warm and fragrant with the scent of earth. Shelves of crystal line the walls, holding pots of rich, dark earth, where flowers are slowly unblooming, their petals folding back into tight green buds. You watch as a shattered vase on a marble pedestal slowly draws its pieces back together until it is whole and perfect once more. In the quiet corner of the conservatory sits a desk made of living, white root that seems to pulse with a faint and golden light. A quill made from the long feather of a phoenix moves across a sheet of ancient parchment, writing in a language of pure light. The ink is a deep and shimmering midnight blue, and as the quill moves, the words begin to fade, vanishing back into the paper. It is a record of the future, being carefully unwritten as it happens, leaving only the present moment. You leave the warmth of the conservatory and find a bridge of woven and shimmering moonlight stretching across a deep and vast chasm. The chasm is filled with a thick and swirling white mist that smells of ozone and fresh summer rain. As you cross the bridge, you look down and see the faint and glowing outlines of giant mushrooms, their caps glowing with a soft orange light. The mist swirls gently around your feet, cool and refreshing as you make your way slowly to the other side. On the far side of the chasm, the garden changes, once more becoming a place of deep shadows and silver light. Trees with trunks of twisted and ancient iron stand in silent and solemn ranks, their branches heavy with fruit that looks like polished onyx. The fruit glows with a dim and internal fire, casting long and flickering shadows across the dark and fertile earth. You feel a sense of profound and heavy stillness as you move through this iron forest, a quiet that settles deep in your very bones. You find a small and hidden clearing where a single stone bench sits beneath a weeping willow made of fine silver wire. The willow's long branches trail in a pool of liquid mercury, creating slow and concentric ripples that never seem to stop. You sit on the bench and feel the cool and solid stone through your clothes, a grounding presence in this dreamlike world. The only sound is the soft and rhythmic drip of mercury falling from the silver willow into the shimmering pool. The air in this clearing is perfectly still, and you feel a deep and restful calm washing over your entire body. Your thoughts begin to slow down, matching the deliberate and peaceful pace of the garden's backward growth. You watch a small and silver beetle crawl backward across the stone bench, its movements precise and graceful in the dim light. Everything in this place is moving toward a beginning, a gentle return to the source of all things and all life. You stand and continue your journey, following a path of crushed and sparkling diamonds that glitters in the low and ethereal light. The path leads you toward a massive and imposing archway of living bone, its surface etched with runes of ancient and silent power. The runes glow with a soft and steady white light, and you feel a gentle tingle of magic as you pass beneath the arch. Beyond it, the garden becomes even more ethereal, with plants made of pure light and shifting shadow. You see a trellis of sharp thorns that are slowly softening, turning into delicate and shimmering strands of white silk. The silk drifts in the still air, catching the light and creating a shimmering curtain that hangs gently across the path. You walk through the silk, feeling its soft and cool touch against your face, like a gentle and loving caress. The scent of jasmine and night blooming, Sirius fills the air, a sweet and intoxicating aroma that invites you to rest. In a small and hidden nook you find a statue of the gardener, carved from the shifting sands of gold and silver. The statue is never truly still, its form slowly and gracefully changing as the sands flow and shift in an unseen hourglass. One moment it is an old man with a weathered and wise face, and the next a young child with eyes full of wonder. You feel a sense of deep and quiet reverence as you gaze at the statue, a reminder of the eternal cycle of time. The path begins to slope gently upward, leading you out of the shadowy forest and into a place of brilliant emerald light. The light comes from a great and multifaceted crystal at the center of the garden, its many surfaces reflecting the beauty of this realm. You feel a sense of calm anticipation as you approach the crystal, a knowledge that you are nearing the very heart of the mystery. The air is vibrant and alive, humming with the ancient energy of 1,000 gentle and protective spells. You pass a wall of liquid mirrors that reflect not your own face, but the garden as it was 1,000 years in the past. You see the very first seeds being planted by hands, made of pure and radiant starlight in the dark and fertile earth. The mirrors are cool to the touch, and they seem to pulse with a soft and rhythmic beat, like the ticking of a cosmic clock. You feel a sense of deep connection to the past and the future, all held in this single and perfect moment. The emerald light grows even stronger, casting long and peaceful green shadows across the path of crushed and sparkling diamonds. You walk with a slow and steady pace, your mind clear and your heart at a state of total and complete peace. The garden around you is a masterpiece of magic and time, a place where the impossible becomes real and the weary find rest. You feel a sense of deep and quiet gratitude for the opportunity to witness such beauty and wonder in the dark. The path ahead begins to glow with a soft emerald light, drawing you deeper toward the very heart of the garden's timeless soul. You stand now at the very base of the great emerald spire, and the air here is thick with the scent of ancient pines, and the sharp, clean tang of mountain snow. The ground beneath your feet is no longer earth, but a vast and intricate mosaic of polished jade and sea-green glass. Each tile is cool and smooth, reflecting the soft and pulsing light of the crystal above you. You feel a deep and resonant thrum vibrating through the soles of your boots, a heartbeat of the world that is both ancient and new. The crystal towers over you, its many facets catching the light and throwing emerald sparks across the garden. You notice that the light within the stone is moving, swirling in slow and majestic patterns, like the stars in a distant galaxy. It is a dance of light and shadow, a silent symphony that tells the story of everything that has ever been and everything that is yet to be. You reach out, your hand hovering just inches from the surface, and you feel a gentle warmth radiating from the heart of the stone. To your left, a row of silver lilies is undergoing a quiet transformation as their petals slowly fold inward. They do not wither or fade, but instead they become tighter and more vibrant, turning back into perfect and unblemished buds. The scent they release is not the smell of decay, but the fresh and invigorating aroma of a spring morning just before the sun rises. You watch in silent wonder as a single drop of dew rolls upward from the tip of a leaf and vanishes into the air. The garden around you is a place of profound silence, broken only by the soft and rhythmic pulse of the crystal. You feel a sense of deep and lasting peace, as if the worries of the world have been washed away by the emerald light. The shadows here are not dark, but are instead soft and velvet-like, offering a place of rest and contemplation. You find a bench carved from a single piece of obsidian that feels as soft as silk to the touch. As you sit, you notice a small and spectral fox with fur the color of moonlight curled up at the base of a glowing root. The creature is fast asleep, its breath slow and steady, and you feel a sense of companionship in its quiet presence. The fox seems to be a part of the garden, a guardian of the silence, and a witness to the slow and backwards march of time. You watch as its tail twitches in a dream, perhaps, chasing the shadows of stars that have long since vanished. Above you the sky is a deep and velvety purple, filled with stars that twinkle with a soft and steady light. You see 2 moons, one a pale and shimmering silver, and the other a warm and glowing gold, hanging side by side in the heavens. Their light mingles with the emerald glow of the crystal, creating a landscape of color and shadow that is truly breathtaking. You feel a sense of insignificance, and yet a sense of belonging to this vast and beautiful universe. A fountain nearby catches your eye, its water flowing upward in a graceful and never-ending arc. The water is not clear, but is instead a shimmering liquid silver that glows with its own internal light. As it reaches the peak of its arc, it does not splash down, but instead it dissolves into a soft and luminous mist that drifts through the air. You reach out and touch the mist, feeling its cool and refreshing moisture against your skin like a gentle and cooling breeze. You notice that the trees in this part of the garden have leaves made of thin and translucent sheets of gold. As the wind whispers through the branches, the leaves chime together, creating a delicate and ethereal music that fills the air. It is a sound that is both haunting and beautiful, a melody that seems to speak to the very depths of your soul. You close your eyes and let the music wash over you, feeling your heart rate slow and your mind drift into a state of total and complete relaxation. In the distance you can see the silhouette of the Necromancer's tower rising like a dark and silent sentinel against the glowing sky. It is a place of mystery and power, and yet from here it seems peaceful and unthreatening, a part of the natural order of this realm. You feel a sense of curiosity about the one who created this garden and the magic that allows it to grow in such a wondrous and backwards way. You imagine the gardener moving through these paths with a gentle and steady hand, tending to each flower and tree with love and care. The path ahead is made of white pebbles that glow with a soft and inner light, as if they have captured the essence of the moon. As you walk, the pebbles crunch softly beneath your feet, a satisfying and grounding sound in this world of magic and shadows. You feel a sense of purpose and direction, as if the garden itself is guiding you toward a specific and meaningful destination. The emerald light from the crystal continues to pulse, a steady and reassuring beacon in the soft and velvet darkness. You pass an archway woven from living shadows and strands of pure and shimmering gold that glitters in the light. Beyond the arch, the garden opens into a wide and peaceful meadow filled with flowers that glow like tiny and colorful lanterns. The air here is still and quiet, and you feel a sense of deep and profound reverence for the beauty and the wonder of this place. You walk through the meadow, your footsteps light and easy, as if you are walking on a cloud of soft and fragrant air. You find a small and hidden pool of liquid silver that reflects the constellations of the sky with perfect and startling clarity. The water is still and undisturbed, a mirror that holds the secrets of the universe in its deep and shimmering depths. You lean over the pool and see your own reflection, but it is not the face, it is a face from a different time, full of wisdom and peace. You feel a sense of connection to all the versions of yourself that have ever been and all the versions that will ever be. The emerald light begins to shift, turning into a soft and soothing shade of violet as the garden prepares for the next phase of its cycle. You feel a sense of gentle and rhythmic change as the energy of the garden flows and shifts in a graceful and never-ending dance. The scent of the air changes too, becoming deep and earthy with the smell of damp moss and ancient stone. You feel a sense of grounding and stability, as if the garden is holding you in a firm and loving embrace. You notice a wall of mossy stone, where the moss is slowly retreating, revealing ancient and intricate carvings that tell the history of this world. You run your fingers over the carvings, feeling the cool and weathered surface of the stone and the power of the stories it holds. Each line and curve is a testament to the skill and the vision of the one who created this place, a legacy of magic and time. You feel a sense of awe and respect for the ancient and enduring power of the garden and its creator. A bridge made of frozen light spans a small and bubbling brook, its surface shimmering with all the colors of the rainbow. You walk across the bridge, feeling its solid and reassuring presence beneath your feet as the light dances and swirls around you. The water below flows in reverse, its gentle and rhythmic gurgle, a soothing and meditative sound that fills the air. You feel a sense of weightlessness, as if you are floating across the bridge, carried by the magic and the wonder of the garden. You reach the other side and find yourself in a grove of ancient and majestic trees, their trunks thick and gnarled with age. The leaves are a deep and vibrant emerald, and they glow with a soft and steady light that illuminates the forest floor. You feel a sense of protection and safety in the presence of these ancient sentinels, as if they are watching over you with a gentle and loving eye. You lean against the trunk of the largest tree and feel its rough and weathered bark against your back. The tree seems to be breathing a slow and rhythmic pulse that matches the beating of your own heart in perfect and peaceful harmony. You close your eyes and listen to the whispers of the leaves, a soft and gentle sound that speaks of ancient secrets and forgotten lore. You feel a sense of deep and lasting connection to the natural world and the magic that flows through everything that lives. The garden around you is a place of healing and renewal, a sanctuary for the weary and the lost. You notice a lantern hanging from a low-hanging branch, its light a soft and steady golden glow that feels like a warm and welcoming hug. The lantern has no wick and no oil, but instead it contains a single and captured star that shines with its own internal light. You reach out and touch the glass of the lantern, feeling its gentle warmth and the power of the light it holds. You feel a sense of hope and promise, as if the light of the star is a beacon guiding you through the darkness. The path begins to slope, gently downward, leading you toward a place of soft and shimmering shadows where the air is cool and still. You feel a sense of quiet and peaceful anticipation as you move deeper into the heart of the garden toward the final and most mysterious of its secrets. The emerald light of the crystal is now a distant and steady glow, a reminder of the beauty and the wonder you have witnessed. You walk with a slow and steady pace, your mind clear, and your heart at peace as you prepare to enter the sanctuary that lies just ahead beyond the veil of silver mist. The silver mist wraps around your ankles like a gentle and cooling tide. It tastes of mint and ancient rain, filling your lungs with a quiet and steady peace. You step forward, and the veil parts, revealing a path of smooth and polished obsidian. The black stone reflects the stars above, creating the illusion of walking upon the very fabric of the night sky. To your left, a row of pale lilies begins to stir, though there is no wind to guide them. You watch as a fallen petal lifts from the dark earth and drifts upward, reattaching itself to the stem with a seamless and silent grace. The flower closes into a tight and perfect bud, returning to its youth before your very eyes. It is the magic of the garden, where time is a river that flows toward the source. The sound of the water grows louder now, a melodic and inverted splashing that echoes through the trees. You find the source, a waterfall that rises from a crystalline pool and climbs toward the jagged rocks above. The droplets move like silver beads on an invisible string, defying the weight of the world with a quiet and effortless ease. You stand by the edge of the pool and feel the cool spray against your face, a refreshing and wakeful dream. Further along, the obsidian path narrows, leading you toward a grand and ancient archway carved from a single piece of moonstone. The stone glows with an inner and rhythmic light that pulses like a slow and steady heartbeat. You pass beneath the arch and feel a shift in the air, a transition from the world of movement to a realm of absolute and enduring stillness. The silence here is not empty, but full of the weight of centuries resting in the dark. You enter a wide and circular clearing where the grass is as soft as velvet and the color of a deep and twilight blue. In the center stands a tree whose branches are made of pure and shimmering glass, reaching toward the heavens. Small and glowing orbs of light hang from the crystal limbs like fruit waiting to be gathered by a patient hand. These are the memories of the garden, captured in spheres of frozen and beautiful time. You walk toward the tree, your footsteps making no sound upon the soft and yielding moss. You reach out and touch the trunk of the tree and find it is warm to the touch, vibrating with a low and comforting hum. The light from the orbs washes over you in waves of gold and violet, soothing your mind and easing your weary soul. You feel as if you have finally arrived at the center of all things, where the beginning and the end are one. Beside the tree lies a bench carved from a dark and aromatic wood that smells of cedar and dried lavender. You sit down and feel the tension leave your body as you lean back against the smooth and polished surface. The garden around you is a tapestry of light and shadow, woven together by the hands of a master who loved the quiet of the night. You watch a ghostly butterfly emerge from a withered leaf, its wings unfolding in a slow and rhythmic dance. The sky above is a deep and endless indigo dusted with the light of 1,000 million stars. You track the movement of a comet as it streaks across the firmament, its tail a shimmering and fading ribbon of silver fire. The stars seem to lean closer, as if they are whispering secrets to the garden below, in a language only the silent can hear. You feel small and yet profoundly connected to the vast and eternal machinery of the cosmos. A gentle and fragrant breeze drifts through the clearing, carrying the scent of night-blooming jasmine and damp earth. It ruffles your hair with the touch of a phantom hand, a soft and reassuring caress that speaks of safety and of rest. You close your eyes for a moment and listen to the breath of the garden, a slow and steady inhalation that matches your own. Everything here is in balance, a perfect and peaceful equilibrium that knows no haste. You notice a small and silver lantern sitting on the grass at your feet, its light a soft and flickering amber. The flame inside does not burn, but glows with the steady and cool light of a captured moonbeam. You pick up the lantern and feel its weight in your hand, a solid and comforting presence in the deepening shadows. The light casts long and dancing shapes across the ground, guiding your gaze toward the edge of the clearing. There you see a small and hidden alcove draped in curtains of living ivy and silver moss. It looks like a place of sanctuary, a private and holy space where the world cannot reach you. You stand and walk toward the alcove, the lantern swinging gently at your side, marking the rhythm of your slow and steady pace. The ivy parts as you approach, as if welcoming you home to a place you have always known. Inside, the air is cool and still, and the ground is covered in a thick and fragrant layer of dried rose petals. A bed of soft and woven rushes sits in the corner, covered in blankets of heavy and midnight blue wool. You set the lantern down on a small stone table and watch as the amber light fills the small and cozy space. It is a place for dreaming, a place where the soul can find its quiet and lasting center. You lie down upon the rushes and feel the softness of the blankets as they wrap around you like a warm and heavy embrace. The scent of the rose petals rises up to meet you, a sweet and floral perfume that lulls your senses into a state of deep and peaceful relaxation. You look up and see that the ceiling of the alcove is open to the stars, allowing the silver light of the moon to spill inside. You feel as if you are floating in a sea of quiet and shimmering darkness. The garden outside continues its backward growth, a silent and beautiful symphony of becoming. You hear the soft and rhythmic clicking of the glass branches as they sway in the midnight breeze. The sound is like 1,000 tiny bells ringing in the distance, a delicate and ethereal lullaby for the weary. You feel your eyelids growing heavy as the magic of the garden settles deep within your bones. There is no tomorrow here, and no yesterday, only the long and beautiful now that stretches into eternity. You are a part of the garden, and the garden is a part of you, a shared and silent legacy of light and time. The Necromancer who built this place did so with a heart full of love for the things that fade, and a desire to see them bloom once more. You feel that love now, a steady and warming presence that guards your sleep. The amber light of the lantern begins to dim, as if it too is drifting toward a deep and restful slumber. The shadows in the alcove grow longer and softer, blurring the edges of the world into a gentle and indistinct haze. You take one final and deep breath of the cool and fragrant air and feel your heart slow to the rhythm of the earth. You are safe, you are whole, and you are deeply and truly at peace. The silver mist begins to drift into the alcove, a soft and cooling blanket that covers you in a veil of dreams. It tastes of the stars and the moon and the ancient secrets of the garden that grows backward toward the light. You feel yourself sinking deeper into the soft and yielding darkness carried by the current of a river that flows toward home. The world of waking is far away, a distant and fading memory that no longer has a hold on you. In the heart of the garden, the glass tree glows with a final and brilliant light before fading into the quiet of the night. The inverted waterfall continues its climb, a silver thread connecting the earth to the sky in a never-ending loop. The lilies have all become buds, and the buds have all become seeds, waiting for the moment to begin their journey again. Everything is as it should be in this place of timeless and enduring beauty. You drift now into the deep and velvet silence where the only sound is the beating of your own and peaceful heart. The darkness is a friend, a soft and welcoming void where you can rest without fear or worry. The garden watches over you, its ancient and silent sentinels standing guard in the silver light of the moon. You are at rest, and all is well in the world of the drowsy dragon. As the final embers of the lantern fade, you find yourself at the threshold of a deep and dreamless sleep. The whispers of the leaves and the hum of the glass tree fade into a single and steady drone that carries you away. You are floating now on the surface of a quiet and starlit lake, moving slowly toward the center of the night. Sleep comes like a soft and silver rain, washing away the last of the day and leaving only peace. Thank you for resting here a while. Until next time on the Drowsy Dragon, sleep well.